11:25. Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University will join us at 11:35. Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern will join us at 11:45. And Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will join us at approximately 11:55. We're a few minutes before our first coach availability will start, so we'll pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Some guys jump out of the piece on a couple of quick announcements before we get started. We ask that you please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are asking our coaches a question. We also ask you please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking a question. Also, if you do see that there are several questions there already in the queue, we ask that you please limit your questions to one initial question. If we do have additional time, we'll circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, we'll be joined by Coach Shade at approximately 10:05. We're about 3 minutes ahead of schedule. Be back momentarily. Appreciate your patience. All right, once again, we want to welcome everybody to our SWAC football head coaches media session. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to get started here today with Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shea. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Well, we played the Lewis Cruz 15th annual Lewis Cruz Classic here at Lewis Cruz Stadium against Alcorn. It was a hard-fought game. We felt like both teams came in 0-1, and both teams were hungry for a win, and a lot of respect for Alcorn and Coach Thomas. They came in here and they gave us all we could handle. Started out pretty strong. We went up 35-17 at one point, but they kept fighting and fighting back, and we had to play 60 minutes in order to win that football game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Shade. Congrats on that first win, man. Bulldog Nation, we're excited.
Oh, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my question for you today, you talked a lot last week when I asked you, you said that you guys wanted to eliminate self-inflicted mistakes and penalties. This week, you guys had 10 more penalties and things of that nature. So what are some of the things you guys need to do, want to do, or thinking about doing in terms of working on discipline and controlling these penalties and mistakes?
Well, you're right. We actually we had 10 penalties for 114 yards. We definitely have to clean that up. One of the things that we try to do is a rules education deal where basically we're pointing out different infractions that happen on film and point that out to the whole team, things that we can't do. And, then sometimes, if we see an opponent, if we're watching film on somebody else and they're getting certain penalties that we might not be getting, we try to show those clips to our team. And, we feel like as the season goes on, then the point gets across and they understand it because, sometimes you might have a freshman kid that, he's heard it, but sometimes he's got to see it a few times on film, and that helps. But that's all we can really do is, just point it out and just show how it hurts us. For instance, we get a personal foul penalty on a kickoff, and then that gives the other team 15 more yards on that kickoff, and that hurts our defense as far as going out there and being able to stop them when they got pretty good field position.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck this week against Tennessee State, and again, congrats on that first win.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Henry Pugh from No Chill Sports. How are you doing?
Doing great. Good morning to you.
Congratulations on the first win as a Bulldog. But Coach, I've heard several times that head coaches, although they see all the good, the bad always jumps out to them. Been able to limit some of those more explosive plays and to kind of help you guys out more in these wins.
Yes, we sure have. Defensively, we gave up just one too many explosive plays in that ball game, and those are some things that we got to fix. On the defensive side of the ball, we got a number of guys that came to us this summer. Even got a couple guys that are playing a lot of ball that just got to us in training camp. So we're still trying to gel and mesh on that defensive side of the ball. And, like I said, those are guys that really hadn't been here. And unfortunately, you get in some ball games and the heat of the battle, it might not have quite sunk into a guy that hey, you got to do this on this situation. And that's been kind of what's hurt us with some of the big plays that we've given up.
Okay, thank you, Coach, and good luck next week.
All right.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach, on winning the Lewis Cruz Classic.
Oh man, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's truly a blessing and an honor.
Absolutely. Coach, let's talk about your quarterback play. Cornelius Brown played a tremendous game, a total of 5 touchdowns, 260 yards passing, another 69 rushing. Talk about his play.
Well, the numbers speak for itself. He had a really, really good game throwing the ball and running the ball when he was asked to do so. And just an outstanding performance. But, like I said, I've been saying for a while, he's come to work every day since we got started back in January, whether it was workouts, whatever it was, he showed up at a high level each and every day. And when you do that, it's going to pay off for you. I mean, he's just been that guy for us.
And Tennessee State coming up, Coach. Can you talk about what you've seen and what you expect from this team?
Well, Tennessee State, they've got a veteran coaching staff, obviously. Coach Barlow coached in the SWAC for a very long time, and he's been a number of places, even the professional ranks as a head coach. And he's got a staff full of guys. His defense coordinator, Greg Williams, has been an NFL defense coordinator and also head coach. And so we feel like we're going to face a team that's going to be very well coached, and we feel like these guys are going to play hard after watching some film on them. They had a tough ball game against North Carolina A&T, who's playing well. That Tennessee State was able to get that victory and a hard-fought win for them. And this past week, obviously, they played a really good North Dakota State team. And, obviously it didn't go their way, but at the same time, it's kind of like, our ball game against Arkansas. And we didn't win the game, but we came back the next week and prepared and we're ready to play. So we're expecting them to be ready to play when we go up to Tennessee State.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach. Hey.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
You too,
congratulations on your win there. First win over there at Alabama A&M. Great work.
Thank you.
But I know you're ready to move forward. So pretty much people broke down that game. So I want to ask you about Tennessee State. What have you learned in terms of renewing that rivalry from that perspective? In addition to that, more importantly, what do you want to see your team continue to do as you build against Tennessee State to try to get the victory?
Well, we hadn't played Tennessee State since 2010, so it's been a while. But with them being right up the road in Nashville, I think it's great for our fan base and for their fan base. We got a 4-year deal, home and home. So we're excited about that, getting a chance to face another HBCU. But as far as our team, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of things we got to clean up, particularly the penalties that we've had. That we had this past week. We got to clean that up. And then also we've just got to keep improving as a football team. There were some things that happened to us special teams wise and defensively that we feel like we've got to show up. So hopefully we can get all that stuff cleaned up and taken care of before we get to the ball game on this Saturday against Tennessee State.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
All right. Thank you.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. How you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations on your first win as a Division I head coach. You just alluded to the penalties. You had 10 penalties for 114 yards. What are the things you want to try to implement or try to improve it to get those penalties to a minimum or not have them at all?
Well, one of the things that we do is if you're one of those guys that's committing those penalties and stuff, we're just say we're going to pull you out. We're not going to play you. We're going to play somebody that's not going to get penalties that are going to cost us. So that we're actually in meetings and things. We try to point those things out and just coach our guys through those penalties. And sometimes we even take film from somebody else that might have had certain penalties that we might not have had. Just kind of a rules education deal is what I call it. And that's something that I've done every year is tried to make sure that we go over certain penalties. But sometimes in the heat of battle, heat of the moment, guys just, sometimes tend to revert back to some things. But, all we can do is just keep coaching them up.
All right, Coach. Good luck this weekend and congratulations again.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Alabama State and Coach Eddie Robinson. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue with that and with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach, and always thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Southern.
Yeah, we went down to Southern Baton Rouge. Always a tough place to play. SWAC game. So, we had to go out there and compete. Game didn't go exactly how you wanted early on. It was 3-0, 6-0 at the half, and then they came back, they scored 7. So it was a tough ball game, back and forth all the way. And And then we was able to get a couple turnovers late in that third quarter. I think that was the biggest difference in the game. We was able to create 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Lewis. So in Patterson, I think that really helped us out, and we only gave up the 1 turnover. So I think both teams played extremely hard. Coach Graves had those guys ready to go, so it was a tough matchup. Have some explosive guys like McCoy and Holly, so we just had to really try to keep those guys under wraps. They still rush for like 190 yards and those type things, but a lot of things that we still have to improve on, clean up the penalties, that type of stuff, and then we come back this weekend with our home opener against Miles College.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Robinson, congrats on the win. First one of the season for you guys. So with your performance defensively, you just already alluded to forcing those 4 turnovers, and you only allowed them to score 7 points. What does this do for you guys, you think, defensively moving forward as you guys get ready to get into the SWAC is coming up in a few weeks, but as you guys prepare for that, where do you guys think Saturday's performance sets you up defensively as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, so we prided ourselves on playing some really good defense over here the last couple of years, and just traditionally we've always had really good defenses. The first game had everybody a little bit nervous and on edge. We gave up a lot of points in 52, and so but we were playing a lot of young guys. Patrick Smith, he had a play early in the game. He didn't keep leverage, gave up a 30-yard run. So, but it's his first time. He's a true freshman playing, but he goes back in there, gets pressure on the quarterback, has a fumble on the quarterback, and he recovers it also. So it's great when you can see right in front of your face that guys are developing as players, and some other guys who are playing for the first time or they redshirted the year before. Cornell Harris is one of those guys, didn't play much as a freshman. So now he's out there playing and making plays. And so it's, we'll get better each week, and that's the biggest thing. We just want to win today. Just keep getting better as we go along. But I think the defense still has some more improvement, obviously, and we'll just keep trying to get better every week.
All right, congrats on the win again, Coach, and good luck in your home opener against Miles.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. Next question goes to Donald Ware.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. How are you?
Going well. How's it going today?
Do you with the way that
Yeah, I can't hear you too good. It's kind of breaking up.
All right, Donald, if you could check your audio connection, and we'll circle back to you if that's okay. All right. Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Congratulations on that big win at Southern.
Thank you.
So the previous week, Andrew Body led the team in rushing, but this past Saturday, you leaned more on Holtzclaw, Ligon, and Harris, and that helped limit some of Body's carries. Was that more about protecting him, or was there something that you saw in the Southern's defense that made you want to attack with the backs?
Yeah, I think, Andrew is a talent. I mean, he's a talented quarterback. He's playing at a high level. And so every defense is going to have a different approach. I mean, they play tight man coverage, blitz quite a bit. And so some of those run lanes for the quarterback just wasn't there. When he stepped up at times, he couldn't get out the pocket. So kudos to those guys. They did a great job defensively of keeping him in the pocket. And so the running game was doing really well. Cam Smith, the big offensive lineman for us, had an exceptional game. Played tough and physical the whole time. And so the running backs, it was just their day. And so I think week to week offensively, you just kind of have to figure out what's working. And then obviously you're going to stick with what's working, but that was just the game plan for this week.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach. Big victory.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, this is kind of surprising to see Alabama State not with your defense, because you're traditionally at the top of the rankings when it comes to all defensive categories. But offensively, this seems like a new look for Alabama State. Is this what we can expect? And what is the nature of this new high-scoring offense?
Well, I think the goal is always to win by 1 point. So however that happens, if it's 9-6 or 50-48, that's always the goal. But I think the guys offensively are just really coming together, and I think that's what you're seeing. We have some guys who are in their third year as receivers. You know, Jalen Jones, Ajay Harrell, Asa Gregg, those guys. I mean, they were freshmen. Some of them played a little bit as freshmen. They played a little bit more last year, so now they're just maturing. We got one kid, Dylan DeGenti, out the transfer portal who scored a touchdown the last 2 weeks, but a lot of those guys just had to grow up. I mean, they just had to get there. Amari Holsclaw, another kid, played really well as a freshman, but then he got hurt halfway during the season. So now he's coming back for a second year. And so I think it's just a maturation process of everybody playing a little bit better than they did the year before. And then, of course, Andrew Body is a guy that's the talented quarterback, and he's just putting it all together. And Coach Barnett, now you're in his second year as an offensive coordinator, so he's doing a great job of just getting those guys a little bit better each day.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck against Miles this week.
Appreciate it.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doing well.
I want to talk to you about the defense, specifically on third down, where you gave up 9 of 15 on third down efficiency to Southern. What are some things you want to try to improve on your third down defense?
Yeah, looking at the game, I think it was just McCoy. I mean, he's just an athlete at the quarterback. I mean, that just makes you nervous. Sometimes we had everybody covered, and he just saw opening and he took off. And with his athleticism, he was able to get the first down before we can catch him. But that's definitely something that we have to improve on. The tight coverage was there at times, but I think we have to, when you're playing an athlete like that at quarterback, you have to do a little bit something different to try to keep him under control. And they did a great job of him understanding that, hey, we're covering everybody now as man coverage, and taking advantage of that and moving the chains.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Robinson, how you doing this morning?
Going well, Ty. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. Miles College is in what could be considered a rebuild right now, and they've gotten off to a slow start. But talk about the energy and fire they'll bring to this game, and what could be considered another kind of in-state rival, much like Alabama A&M for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that. I mean, they're right there in Birmingham. You know, some of those guys, well, a lot of our guys played against those guys in high school. They were teammates and stuff like that. And I reminded the kid, you know, right after this game, you know, 2 years ago, we beat Southern in the opener, and then the second game, they came here and they beat us. So trust me, it's still a fresh wound. It hasn't healed yet. So we'll be ready to play, and we'll take them as a rivalry, and that's what it has become. And so we're going to go out there and play hard and compete, and expect to win the game at home.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Good morning, Coach. It's Henry Pugh from No Chill Sports. How you doing this morning?
Going well. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. So this week you're taking on Miles. They are a D2 school. What are some ways you're trying to, I guess, encourage the guys to not overlook this game, especially when you've got a big game looming in a few weeks, to kind of, I guess, prepare themselves, almost like you guys had to prepare for UAB?
Exactly. And so my message is, you know, confidence comes through preparation. So the better you prepare, the more confident you'll be on game day. So our preparation this week will be the same, if not better, as from the previous 2 weeks. And I think that's how you have to approach every week. You have to approach every day in life like that. So our motto is always win today. So we know that we have to go out there and have a great Tuesday and a great Wednesday, and not focus on the big picture. But yeah, we'll be ready to play. I don't think in college football you see upsets and everything at every level. So I don't think you can ever just go out there and say the game's going to start and we'll win. But at the same time, you know, we like my man Mickey Joseph always says, hey, we're a bigger school. We have more scholarships, so we're expecting to go out there and to do well and win the game. And that's what it should be, and that's what the kids have to know that.
All right, thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
We'll take one final question from Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
I wanted to ask you about coming out of the half in the third quarter where you were able to stretch out the lead. A lot of that was taking advantage and forcing fumbles, turnovers from Southern, and then cashing it into points. Talk about the momentum swing and how at the college level, particularly in conference games, even if it's a non-conference approach, about how do you deal with your players in regards to not letting them get too high, get too low, but being efficient throughout the game.
Yeah, so I always look at the start time and end time of the game. The game was a 4-hour game. When you add the beginning from when it kicked off to when it ended, but you probably have 7 minutes of actually plays on defense. And, so when I break it down to the kids like that, that means you have 6-second plays and you're going to have about 60 of them, 420 seconds. That's going to be about 7 minutes of actual game time. So that's a whole lot of in-between time that you have to stay focused, and that has to be in practice. So you have to execute when the moment happens. And so, but it's a very long game. And so those momentum swings can go up and down. And I think as coaches, we have to feel when it's not going our way. We have to feel when we have to put a little bit more emphasis on the next play or the next drive. And so we were able to make a play and then score and then come back and duplicate it again. And like I said, I think this game really just came down to the team that was able to force the turnovers. And we were fortunate enough to get a couple turnovers, and that's how the game kind of got to the point where we were up a score or two. But before that, it was a 7-6 ball game. Both teams were playing well. It was going back and forth, and then we were just able to make a play or two towards the end.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we next go over to Alcorn State and head coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for coach. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama A&M.
I try to start this video right quick.
Oh, no problem.
There you go. Yeah, great. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but the video isn't showing for some reason. But I think we can hear you, Coach. We don't want to.
All right.
Fill your day up. Yeah.
Yeah. Great atmosphere. Going down to Huntsville. Really excited about the opportunity to play in, SWAC opponent. Got off to a slow start defensively. Those guys did a really good job with some new looks, had some explosives. And, offensively, we answered the charge, back and forth. I think it was 2 possessions apiece where each one of us was able to score. And, defensively, we just couldn't get enough stops in the first half. Quarterback, did an amazing job, not only with his legs, but, with his arm also. And offensively, they gave us a chance to stay in it. And in the second half, made some adjustments, on defensively, got a few stops. And, offensively, we had some momentum and, just finished that thing, a little bit short. I think 3 minutes we had it and couldn't get it in the end zone and gave up a score late. But, overall excited by the way the guys finished. They could have easily, shut it down at the end, showed a lot of resolve. But we just can't shoot ourselves in the foot 2 weeks in a row. First possession from a kicking game standpoint, we turned the football over, put the defense back on the field. So definitely some things we got to correct. Alabama A&M did a really good job of being, really explosive on the offensive side of the ball. And we didn't match that intensity for 4 quarters. So got a lot of work to do. Guys are doing a good job, trying to rectify those problems and just excited about getting the opportunity to right the wrongs and go down to Starkville this week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach. I know that you guys starting at 0-2 is definitely not what you guys were we're looking for. But even with all of that, what is the process that you guys as a staff are undertaking to keep everybody engaged and also keep their eyes focused on the bigger picture ahead, which is the fact that you guys haven't played an actual SWAC game yet?
No, just understanding why we're in the situation we're in. You know, it's a lot of plays of non-execution, you know, that's out there. And a lot of that has nothing to do with the external components of it. And so, you know, we received the punt and we fumbled the punt, you know, and that's, like I said, that's 2 weeks in a row. You know, we had the snap go over the punter's head, you know, last week. And those things, you know, unacceptable. You know, we just can't shoot ourselves in the foot. So we showed clips of those particular plays. You know, they run a crossing route, the corner doesn't take it in man coverage, just plays like that we show them, hey, look, we put ourselves in the situation and we got to get ourselves out. So the guys understand that, and you know, those guys are working to rectify those situations. And so we'll continue to establish this culture the way we want it. And you know, we make the necessary steps to get those things taken care of.
All right, Coach, thanks, and good luck against Mississippi State this week.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, football coaches always talk about how the most improvement of their programs come from week 1 to week 2. If that is true for you, can you talk about some of the improvements that your team has made from week 1 to week 2?
Well, you see the pillars, you know, that's first and foremost, you know, was down dramatically. You see offensively, that's the offense that, you know, we was expecting, you know, coming out of fall camp, and also, you know, spring, you know, the kicking game, you know, besides the fumble on the punt return, you see we established some kickoff return yards, and so that unit got better. But one of the main focus of what we do, and a staple of who we are, is defensive football, and you know, that took a step back, and so we just got to play complementary football and get all 3 phases playing on a high level.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in Starkville.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Thomas.
Good morning, ma'am.
You had a offense that put up 31 points this week after struggling early in the season. Can you talk a little bit about Jacorian Sewell and Reggie Davis and establishing that run game, and how important that is moving forward?
Really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. And, you know, that's who Sewell is. You know, he got home run speed. You see him on an 80-yard run. Reggie, you know, fills up at the point of attack and play behind his pads. I thought that offensive staff just did a really good job of having a good game plan versus a really good defense who had some really good plays against the Arkansas team. And so, you know, those guys, we expect that year in, week in and week out, you know, and, you know, just continue to do that and run the football to set up the pass game. And so we expect them guys to do that, you know, every week. And, you know, we just got to get the other side of the ball caught up so we can play a consistent brand.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Doc?
I'm doing good, man. 2 things I want to talk about. Your third down efficiency against your opponent, and the penalties in the game where you had 9 penalties for 70 yards, but you also gave up 8 of 14 on third down to Alabama A&M. What are the things you want to try to clean up for the next game against Mississippi State?
They're just getting off the field. You know, they did a really good job at the quarterback position. I mean, he was dynamic with his legs. We hadn't seen many clips of him actually running the football, and so that was you know, that was new to us. They also had some zone read action where he actually pulled the football and hadn't shown much of him you know, with his legs. So he did an amazing job, you know, with that. And so we just got to put a premium on getting off the field. You know, 8 for 15, 8 for 16, or whatever it was way too high. And so we got to put some spies in there for these quarterbacks in this league, especially that's athletic enough and can get extra yards with their legs. And we just got to do a better job with, you know, some of those penalties, you know, wasn't warranted. You know, we driving our feet. We got a couple holding calls, you know, they're late on third and shorts. It's put us in, you know, third and mediums. And so we just got to do a good job, keep our hands inside, and just playing the game the way the refs are calling it.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Bethune-Cookman and Coach Woody. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Miami.
It was a great atmosphere, down there, Hard Rock, playing with top 5 teams in the country. We ended up starting off on offense. We get to a 3rd and 7 where we completed a pass to our running back, Ollie Scott, and ends up being short of the first. In that play, they reviewed for a targeting call. We got that and ended up giving us a first down. And we ended up with 3 points. I thought we started out, fast, and our kicker kicked the 32-yard field goal. So I thought that was, positive. I mean, obviously he's been doing a good job, from week to week. We ended up, falling short, a lot of explosives that we didn't stop, in the passing game. Obviously got a lot of good football players, but, our deal is we have to be intentional with our techniques and fundamentals. And I thought that we could do a better job with that, tackling, getting off blocks, those type of things, especially going against the type of team, Miami presented. But I did think that we improved, from last week, from 8 penalties for a total of 75 yards to 2 penalties for a total of 20 yards. We just got to make sure that we stopped the run. I mean, I thought that we misfitted some gaps, and that's the intent, with the techniques and fundamentals there. We just was in a wrong position, and that's all coaching. Offense, obviously we had 2 takeaways that hurt us. 1 interception by our quarterback, Cam, and 1 fumble by our quarterback, Tim McLean. And again, against a good team like that, you can't make those type of miscues.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I want to get a chance to look forward to the matchup you have traveling up Orangeburg, South Carolina State. As you know, historically, it's been a matchup previously at conference finals, but now it's a MEAC SWAC Challenge type of matchup. But as you look at South Carolina State, what are you seeing in terms of what get done against them to be successful and come back home with a win?
Well, I tell you what, being intent with the technique and the fundamentals, they do a good job on, offense, obviously spreading the ball around. They got a good quarterback. They got some good receivers. And then also they have, a couple running backs that hit it between the tackles. Defense, they strain, they play good, sound football on that side of the ball. And then obviously, special teams, obviously they had some miscues first 2 games, but I'm sure Coach gonna have those guys ready to go. We just got to be intent on our technique and fundamentals. If we do that, we'll have a good shot.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, can you grade your quarterbacks for us? It seems to be a quarterback battle brewing there in Bethune.
Well, I mean, I don't know, about, as we stand now, you meaning where we're at. Timmy is our guy coming into the game. He's been more consistent. Obviously, Cam, we have certain packages for him, but Timmy McLean has been more consistent as far as, us grading the decision making and then obviously his production.
And Coach, if you could talk about what are the positives that you take away? You mentioned some of them going against a top 5 team in the country with the University of Miami. What's the message to your team after a game like that?
Well, like I said, I thought our game plan, was well. I mean, those guys never quit. They fought to the very end. Just being intent on the technique and fundamentals. I keep saying that because if your technique and fundamentally sound, you get an opportunity to put more points on the board, and then obviously stop the run and do those type of things. But I just think that with our guys, I mean, they fought. I mean, they played in a hostile environment, and they played against some big time football players.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Woody, how you doing today?
Doing well, Doc.
All right. Some things I want to talk about is your run offense, but also your run defense. What is the things you want to try to do as far offensively to get your running backs into gear for South Carolina State? And as far as your pass defense, your run defense, what are you going to try to do to actually limit the carries and the explosive runs by South Carolina State?
Well, I just think up front on offense, I mean, we're progressing with our whole entirety as far as offensive line, with some of our gap schemes. We just need to finish, blocks because we got, guys that we can put the ball in their hand and take it the distance. I mean, obviously with a freshman, Kamani Robinson had 9 carries for 43 yards, 4.2 yards a carry against, Miami. We saw some of the things that we needed to see from him, but up front, we got to be consistent. And once we're consistent, I mean, we could be able to run the ball whenever we need to.
And my second question is, between Timmy McClain and Cam Ransom, what is the thing that you see as far as with McClain that you don't see with Ransom when he's under center?
Well, Ransom is more so, he's a runner. I mean, we could put Ransom at running back. We could put him at slot receiver, tight end. He's overall, athlete. Timmy, right now he's more poised. I mean, he went 13 for 16, 86 yards. He's more consistent, in the pass and the tight. And then he creates plays, but he makes the decisions that you want him to make in crucial situations.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Daytona are well. Just talk about moving forward. You got an opportunity coming up at South Carolina State, and you just want to play Wildcats football. But what would you like to see going forward?
Well, like I said before, making sure that we're mastering those 5 A's, alignment, assignment, adjustment, alert, and then the attack phase, and at the end of the day, we have to keep pressing these guys to do exactly what we want done and how we want it done. And the big thing is consistency. Like I said before, with the penalties, we went from 8 to 2 penalties this past game, and we was excited, about that. But we want to be perfect. We don't want to just practice. We want perfect practice. And if you perfect practice, then the play will be easy. And right now, that's what we're talking about: consistency in all aspects, offense, defense, and special teams.
Coach, the line of scrimmage, your offensive line and your defensive line. Can you share your thoughts on your O-line and your D-line so far after a few weeks of play?
Yes, offensive line, I think overall, that's a solid group for us, as well as the defensive line. The key is just keeping those guys healthy, and I think they're going to end up getting to where they need to be when we need them to be there. But they've been improving each week.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you,
Coach. As always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M and Coach Colsey. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Florida Atlantic.
Well, obviously, you stepping up and playing an FBS opponent, not, in my opinion, not good enough. Normally this is we normally have played this type of an opponent throughout my time here, and whether as a head coach or the assistant, we normally rise to the occasion. The score was what it was. It was not the standard of FAMU football. Was not where we needed it to be, and looking forward to making a few changes as far as what we're going to be doing this upcoming weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Colsey. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. Poon. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So offensively, sometimes it's kind of hard to pinpoint like the success or failure because, like you said, it was an FBS opponent. But as you prepare for Albany State, it's a Division II team. So will you look to try some different things with your quarterback and your depth and open up both your offense and defense a little bit more this weekend?
Well, I mean, we can't worry about the opponent, right? I mean, we got to make sure we take care of what we need to do, specifically offensively. We just need to get into a rhythm. It's taking us too long to get into the rhythm that we need to do to be successful defensively. Obviously from the first game compared to the second, the numbers were not where they needed to be. But that just boils down to us, just tackling better and getting to the football a heck of a lot faster than we may have shown this past Saturday. And you can't forget about the special teams. When you go against an FBS opponent, you can't have breakdowns in the special teams and getting a pump block. That kind of deflated us a little bit. But all three facets, regardless of who we're playing, we just got to be better. But specifically offense, getting in a better rhythm, defense just getting to the ball and tackling a heck of a lot better, and then special teams just showing up some of our philosophy and schematical errors that we had, the last 2 weeks.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. This next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Tallahassee are well. R.J. Johnson III, 18 of 28 for 222 and 2 touchdowns. Can you talk about his contribution down in Boca, and then also your quarterback room overall? Petty and guys want to compete.
Well, I mean, the numbers are could be a little bit good, right? No turnovers, and you throw for 2 touchdowns, but a lot of that was done in the second half, right? We did make the change, around after the third series because just Coach Burris and I are just thinking that RJ was not necessarily seeing what we needed, what we wanted him to see at that point in the game. Made the move with Jet, and to give him a couple of series at the time of the game, doesn't necessarily it's not indicative of what he showed to us throughout the week. But it was great to see RJ finish the game the way he did. But I think when you go with the room, and I think we got to figure out the best way to get both of these guys the looks that we feel we need to get so we can kind of shore up our quarterback position. It's not again, no turnovers from the position, but the FAMU quarterback, that person has got to be playing at a high level. And right now, both of them, have not shown that. But we're going to continue to work and see where we need to be at that position, because when our quarterback is playing well, for some strange reason, the offense is playing well. So we just want to continue to work through the week and see what from those two guys who give us the best opportunity to win.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels. Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Perry, how you doing, boss?
I'm super fantastic, Coach. How are you?
We had better days up here, but we're going to keep fighting.
I get it, Coach. Coach, I want to talk about, you mentioned the inability with tackling. Talk about the coaching philosophy of keeping folks healthy during camp and practicing tackling. How do you navigate that?
Well, I mean, I don't think injuries had anything to do with how well we didn't tackle this past Saturday. But there's that fine line, right? They don't allow us to, wear pads back. You can't be full pads back-to-back days. You have to make sure you're taking care of the guys. And ultimately, right, you do lose a little bit of that ability because you can't take people to the ground every single day consistently, like, we used to do, 15, 20 years ago. Right. So, there is a little bit of that, but, there's, to me, some tackling is about want to as well. You gotta want to get these guys to the ground. You gotta want to get in their legs and make sure you wrap them up and things of that nature. So I don't think us, Saturday, we work tackling on individual things, on a lot of times throughout practice, but you do miss that opportunity consistently of every day bringing people to the ground. So, but just for me, this past Saturday, working on our angles, getting our heads in the right spot, making sure all 11 guys are getting to the football. We got our ass to the football last week. This past week, we did not. This past Saturday, where you saw us against Howard defensively, we had 9, 10, 11 hands to the football. This past Saturday, we did not do that, and then at times it showed.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Good luck.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Cozy, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, Doc. What's going on, boss?
I'm doing good. I know we want to talk about the FAU game. Just looking ahead towards this coming weekend against Albany State, an old SWAC rivalry from back in the day. They're coming in at 2-0. What are the things that you see as far as when it comes to their quarterback play in Isaiah Knowles?
Well, they won 2 games, right? They played who they played, and then they're 2-0 after that. And they're going to be a high tempo offense, try to get the ball to their athletes, and they're catching a team right now who's 0-2, trying to figure out a way to win. So we respect all opponents, especially teams as well as Coach Gray's done with his group, and so we can't take it lightly. Yeah, we get a chance to come back home, but Albany State's coming in to win this football game, so we need to make sure that we understand that, and our guys do. They know that we got to play well to beat this football team, and but for us, for us it's confidence, right? We got to make sure we playing with much better confidence, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. But we do understand the assignment. They're coming in to win this football game, and so we got to make sure we take care of what we need to take care of throughout this week.
I appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Dr. Cavill, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to continue with the Golden Rams, but from a defensive perspective, what do you see from what you watched on film in regards to what they're able to do defensively?
Well, they've got a quarterback that can spin it and a guy that can run it, right? So, you got to be able to contain the quarterback even when he's back to pass, because he does have that ability.
No, I was talking about their defense. What do you see from their defense?
I'm sorry. Got a few more transfers than they've had maybe in the past, right? They're long on the outside as far as their DBs, and they do a heck of a job of getting to the football. They got a new coordinator in there, so they're doing some different things as far as coverages and things like that. So with a young quarterback, right, it could pose some problems. But Coach Burris and our offensive staff, they understand that we got to get. It's not going to be about Albany State. It's going to be about what we do and getting our quarterback in a great rhythm and making sure we can get the ball to the people that we need to get the ball to. If we're able to do that, we'll have success. If we don't, it could be a tough football game for us.
Thank you, Coach Cozy. Good luck this week. I look forward to the match.
Appreciate it. I got my parents. Both my parents are Albany State grads, so I gotta keep. I'm in a tough spot.
You gotta make it work, Coach.
All right, we got time for one final question. That'll go to Ty Miller.
Coach, this is Ty Miller from Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. Albany State may be looking at you the way you looked at Miami last week, trying to knock the big ball off the block. So with that being the case, what mindset do you want your players to have going into this game?
We got to respect our opponents. I just think that, for us, as far as just getting back to the basics and just reestablishing who we are as a football team, I still feel there's a very, very good football team in that locker room. We obviously tough game the first week of the season, and then you go against the FAU team that you gotta cover them from sideline to sideline throughout the whole game. And they did pose some problems to us offensively and defensively. So we're gonna respect Albany State. Again, they've played 2 games and have won 2 games in decisively, against 2 other opponents, right? So it's just I can't worry about how they look at us. We got to worry about making sure we play our best and be at our best in all facets of the game. There's a bunch of things that we need to shore up as far as to be a good football team. There are some things that we need to shore up. So if we don't shore those up, this game could be really, really close, and they can mess around and win the football game. So we got to go out there and oppose our will, do the things that we need to be doing as an offense, defense, special team, So there isn't any, any foregone conclusion as far as how this game turns out. But if we don't play well, we could be in trouble. But again, Albany State, again, Coach Gray's done a great job with them. But we do feel we have some advantages, and I think we need to do the best job of exposing them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys, and good luck to everyone this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we go over to Grambling State and Coach Joseph. Once again, if you have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. And please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Ohio State.
Well, we had the lovely opportunity to go play the #1 team in the country. And with my past history and by winning a national championship at the Power 5 level, they looked the part and they played the part. But it was a great atmosphere for my players. I thought it was clean for the most part, and we came out healthy. So that was my thing, that I wanted to be clean, and we came out healthy. And when it wasn't clean, they had something to do with it. But I'm proud of my coaches and I'm proud of my players, for competing, because they competed. And when we turned the film on Sunday, Tell the Truth Sunday, nobody's effort was questioned. And that's what we asked them to do.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Joseph, I'm glad that we had the weather good for you here in Ohio.
Yes. It was great weather. You're right about that. It was great weather.
Yeah, so my question for you is, now we turn the page to Kentucky State, right?
Yes.
So coming from a game where you guys were up for playing the #1 team in the country, how do you guys get these guys or keep these guys even more focused against a team that would be considered to be an inferior opponent coming from Division II, SIAC and Kentucky State?
Well, we prepare the same every week. So we were prepared the same way we prepared for Langston, same way we prepared for Ohio State. And there's two things that we asked them to do. We asked them to focus and finish. Focus and finish. Everything with football is done in this building. So we're gonna be able to get them focused. And this is a pretty focused group when it comes down. They take nobody for granted. They really take nothing for granted. And then so they will look at Kentucky State just like they looked at Ohio State. And it's just like I said last week, it's levels to this thing. So we understand that it's a Division II school, but it's also a school with a reputation of winning some games. And they 1-1 this year, and they look good on film. So they'll get our best game.
All right, Coach. Good luck this week in your. I guess we can say it's the formal home opener now.
Yes, we're in a hole. Yes, but Shreveport was good to us though. They made it feel like home.
Well, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Several questions in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Joseph, how you doing this morning?
Doc, I'm doing good, man.
Man, first and foremost, I thought they was going to sit Jeremiah Smith down. I wanted them to sit him down, but we all know what it was about. Yes. But again, going into this game against Kentucky State, coming in at 1-1, it's another SWAC matchup. What are the things you want to try to do, especially when it comes to third down defense? That's something that we saw on Saturday with Ohio State, trying to get off the field in a timely manner. So what is the things you want to try to clean up on the third downs for defensive wise?
Well, we talked to him about that yesterday because we wasn't very good on offense. I think we was 3 out of 14 on offense, and they were 5 out of 7. Their offense was 5 out of 7. So we're going to really emphasize this week that we got to do a better job on our third down day, which is Wednesday. Hey, we got to make sure we get it on offense. We make sure we get off the field on defense. So we're going to emphasize that because we they like I said, we played the #1 team in the country, and they have a $35 million roster. So we're happy that we was 3 out of 14. Some people say that I didn't have confidence on my kids. I had all the confidence in the world because I know how I'm raising them, and I'm raising them not to back down, and they wasn't going to back down. So the third down thing, they had something to do with it, but also we had something to do with it also because, like I was telling the kids yesterday, when you play in games like this, you can't give them anything. But that goes for any game. Think about it. You can't give teams any air, and give them points. You can't do that. So we'll do a better job this week emphasizing third down.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Joseph, your post-game Ohio State comments resonated with a lot of people nationwide, and even in the comment section, they were great. So can you just briefly expound on, now that that is done, how level the playing field is and how good you feel about Grambling from this point on?
Well, I got really emotional after the game, because it was like it was going into the game, it was like a father, watching your kids go play, go on an uphill battle, and you couldn't do nothing but stand on the sideline and not help them physically. So I had to make sure that I made good decisions that game, and that's why we started huddling. We went to the huddle, but nobody quit. Nobody quit. I promise you, nobody quit. So we were happy. We were happy because of that. But it's levels to it. But we happy we came. Like we told our kids also before the game, to get to success, sometimes you got to get scarred up. So we got scarred up that game. But we still have a chance to be successful, and that's what we're striving for.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Grambling are well. You talked about levels to the game. Talk about the line of scrimmage, your O-line, your D-line, the Ohio State, those Buckeyes on both sides of the ball, and then you get an opportunity to see Kentucky State. Just compare and contrast the line of scrimmage.
Well, when you talk about a Power 5 team that has a $35 million roster, you really can't compare it, because the playing field wasn't even. It wasn't even, going into that game and during that game and after the game. It wasn't even. So our O-line and our D-line guys, they battled. They won. They won because they didn't quit, and they strained to finish. Everybody on the O-line and D-line, they strained to finish, and they didn't back down. And I thought for the most part that they played well. That we did a great job with the offensive line, identifying the box, getting the hat on the hat, and the defense, they did a great job, the D-line, of being in their gaps. So I'm proud of those guys. And, you're right, the playing field is going to be even from here on out. So we're excited about it. We survived it. And, but I tell you one thing, I don't wish that on nobody, because I know guys who was in my situation, Northwestern State, same thing. They had to go up there to play Minnesota. So you're hoping that you just don't lose kids, and we came out healthy. But I was proud of my O-line and my D-line because they battled.
Next question goes to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the HBCU Sports and Hero Sports. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Coach Joseph. Now, I do understand that these payout games are necessary evils, but can there be a point where these payout games against FBS opponents can hurt the confidence of your team more than the money helps the athletics departments that they play for?
Most definitely. It can hurt the confidence, by, getting slaughtered 70-0. But immediately after the game, we made sure that we reiterated to the players, this has nothing to do with what's going to happen from here on out, because nobody remembers what you're doing in September and October and November. So now the playing field's even, but it definitely can take people confidence. So we had to make sure that we looked at it with reality when we looked at it as coaches, and we made sure that we didn't cover 3 is cover 3. A hitch is a hitch. So we still want to do our game plan, but you're right, it could take their confidence. But this is a very confident group. They understand why we had to play the game, but just like me, they wanted to come out healthy, and we did, because we said this: if you play soft, you're gonna get hurt. But if you go in and you battle, you play hard, you're gonna survive it.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Joseph.
Good morning.
You talked about the frame in terms of who you're playing in this last game, but you started off with Langston, NAIA, all the way up to literally, as you said, the #1 team that's ranked in the country that won the championship last year and is going to be in the mix. Mm-hmm. Such a variability of the spread in terms of various ways that you look at football. And then you have your matchup against Kentucky State, a SIAC Division II program. When you're doing the teaching, those things are the same. You know, those are things that you want perfection. You want your players to get better.
Yes.
But how do you review that when you go into film with your coaches and look at post-game, pre-game analysis? Can you give us a little insight in terms of what that looks like when you're having such a variability in the spread?
Well, I think
from team to team.
yes, but I think when you look at it, like if you look at the links, we have it gapped out, we make the play. Against Ohio State, you would have it gapped out on defense and they get 4 yards. You know, we have a cover 3 and they run curl routes and they get it, you know. So like I said, it's levels to it. You know, sometimes they would err, but sometimes they was outmanned. So we always preach win your one-on-ones. Well, sometimes we didn't win our one-on-ones. You know, and I tell people it's like this. When I was in high school and in college, it's certain people that wasn't going to tackle me in open field. Because you wasn't on my level. You know, you wasn't going to do it. No. You know? So we understood what we were getting into. You know, I think the last time Ohio State wasn't in the top 5 was like 2014, I think. But they were number 6. Okay, so understand what we just went against. I guarantee you, I didn't wake up and say I want to play Ohio State.
Right.
But I know that, you know, we do this for financial help.
Right.
And so we did our part. We did our part. We helped financially. Now the playing field's even. We did our part. Now it's time to move on. And like I said, my players understand that because we don't hide anything from them. Because of you guys, it's the media. It's gonna get out of it anyway. I'd rather them hear it from me than hear it from somebody else. So that's why we kind of private in this building. But we know some of the stuff leaks out, especially at a game like this. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you got the biggest payout in FCS, you know, this year." So we knew that. So we know going into that game that it was levels to it. But like we said, we wanted it to be clean, and we wanted to come out healthy. And guess what? We wanted to compete. And the score probably don't show that, but we put the ball on the ground 3 times. They scored twice and an interception. They scored 21 points. We had 2 busting coverage. They play games like that. You can't give them anything, but it just goes. You can't give anything to Kentucky State this week because they're a good football team. You can't give things away. Like I said, cover 3 is cover 3. A hitch is a hitch. We ask you to do your job. Do your job.
Appreciate it. I think you broke it down in terms of the analysis there. So I appreciate that insight.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Coach Joseph.
Thank you.
Coach Joseph, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys and good luck to everybody this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Alonzo Hampton. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Central Arkansas.
Yeah, we went up to Conway, Arkansas, played a really good football team. We felt going into it, we were 2 evenly matched teams, apples to apples, as far as being that. And then we got there to the game. I mean, obviously we scored first on them. Defense got us a stop. They were driving the ball. We take it down and score. And then they scored. They missed the extra point. And then we kind of back and forth there in the second quarter. They go up 20-7, and we drive it down there. Got the ball on the 1-yard line, and had to kick a field goal instead of scoring right before half. Went in at half 20-10, and it came out in third quarter. We knew, I mean, they had a lot of returning players on the O-line, and they were just able to kind of ran the ball, kind of control the clock the second half, you know, and that kind of got us, you know, we couldn't get off the field. And then offense, when we got back on the field, kind of went 3 and out. So it was a lot of good from our guys, a lot of, you know, good things that we were able to do. We just got to be able to stay tough, play complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. And if we do that moving forward, man, we'll have a chance to compete and win every game. So, and we'll be able to show the kids the film and kind of move forward from there. But that's kind of what happened in that game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Obviously, home opener this week. I know everybody's excited for that. 2 weeks ago, you guys were a big road underdog at Texas Tech. Now this week, roles are reversed. You're the big home favorite against a lower division opponent. What kind of mindset do you want your guys to take into a matchup like this?
Man, we just need to have a winning mindset and just control the things that you can control. Play one play at a time. Do your alignment, do your assignment technique. And that's kind of where we at as a program. You play Texas Tech, and you come back and play UCA, and you're watching guys do it right for 3 or 4 plays, and then you'll have a bust here by a player, and that causes a big run, or it'll be a drop here on 3rd down, things like that. So as we get into this week, man, it's just being able to really focus on yourself and do your job, regardless of who the opponent is. You got to go out there and do your 111. And that's the thing we're trying to get over to our players. Just do your job on every single play. And if we do that, man, we'll come out and be successful. But that's every game. It has nothing to do with the opponent this week, but we just need to do our job. You hear all the coaches on the call just saying, hey, man, just do what their defense or the offense is requiring you to do. We're going to put you in good position. We got really good coaches in this conference. So our players, you got some young guys that's playing, and sometimes they have bad eye discipline. And so we'll continue to coach that. But those guys are going to be excellent football players before the end of the season's over with.
All right, thank you, Coach.
This question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Hampton, I know that the game on this Saturday, the final score was not indicative of how hard you guys played and how close that game actually was in segments. So moving forward, as you guys get yourselves ready for this week and beyond, like, what is the total mindset right now of your team and your staff?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I mean, like, we're all disappointed. We're disappointed. We rode the bus home. We were disappointed on Sunday. We met as a staff. We just left a lot of meat on the bones. Some things that we did offensively, defensively. We felt that it would work. It didn't work. And so as coaches, man, you kind of, you go do self-scout and kind of figure out, hey, how can we make this thing better for our players moving forward? Because a lot of things we had in since day one, and those are the busts that you really, it's hard to explain those. And as a head coach, that's kind of where you got to be like, hey, man, are we doing too much? All right, we need to do less. Sometimes less is more. And that's kind of where we at right now. We just need to be able to hone in on the details of what we're doing in all 3 phases and give our kids an opportunity. But again, as you said, a lot of it was just missed tackles, and you have to want to tackle a guy. And offense, drop balls, that has nothing to do with the coaches, as we're doing good stuff. But that first drive, man, we had 2 drops from probably one of our better players, and he'll bounce back this week. And so we're excited about where we're headed as a program moving forward. We need to go in there and take care of business this week, and it will come get us a bye and kind of go back and do self-scout for the first 3 games and figure out where we at.
All right, Coach. Good luck this week with Lincoln coming to town.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Hampton, how you doing this morning?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. In particular, want to talk about 3rd down efficiency and the rushing, where you gave up 6 yards a carry.
Yep.
Over 300 yards rushing, but you also they was stayed on the field, converted 8 out of 12 on 3rd down, but also 2 out of 3 on 4th down.
Yeah.
What is the thing you want to? What is the thing you told your team on Saturday as trying to get the offense off of the field and kind of give your defensive players a rest when it comes to teams running like that?
Yeah, again, it goes back to complementary football. We got to eliminate the explosive runs. They did average 6-7 yards, but a lot of them was just, we had it, you have one guy not doing his job. He's supposed to be a box player. He's spilling it to nobody. Supposed to be a spill player. He's boxing it. And so now you're cutting guys out of the gaps, things like that. We got to eliminate the explosive pass. They had like 3 or 4 of those. Those just eye violations. You'll cover 3 corners, just stay in your deep third. And it's just things like that kind of got us out of kilter. And when it came to 3rd down, we wasn't able to get to the quarterback. They had 3 sacks. We had none. The other part is we had 3 takeaways. We only scored 7 points off of those takeaways. We had 3 takeaways, 2 in the first quarter. and ran one back. We scored the touchdown. Linebacker ran it down to the 1. That was our first score to put us up. But again, man, we're doing a lot of good things. And you talk about 4th down. I think they had a 4th and inch like once, and then they had a 4th and a yard. So those are going to be tough. They made some great plays. But again, we had another interception that was called back on 3rd down. A defensive lineman jumped off sides. The freshman picked it off. He ran it back about 40 yards. So those things are the things that hurt you as a program, as a defense. It hurts the entire team when you're not disciplined. And we've been pretty good penalty-wise. I don't think we had more than 4 or 5 in a game. So we're headed in the right direction. And that football team we just played, they'll compete for the ASUN championship. They'll be in the top 3 or 4. And again, like I said, the final score was not indicative of, what the game was. It was 2010 at half, but they were able to run the ball, and we weren't able to get off the field in that 3rd and 4th quarter. I think they had the ball somewhere around 11 minutes in the 3rd quarter and 10 minutes in the 4th quarter. So when you can do that, you're not playing complementary football. Defense not helping the offense get back on the field. And then when the offense did get out there, they went 3 and out. So we got to help each other moving forward.
I appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
This question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach Hampton, how you doing?
How you doing, Ms. Stapleton?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So you have the up and coming game against Lincoln. And I feel like when you're playing a D2 team, you're able to open up your offense and defense a little bit more. What adjustments are you looking for, especially with the defense, because you guys had 600 yards put up on you this past week, especially with Alcorn and Texas Southern coming up? And these are some very important games for the SWAC West.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Alcorn. I'm not worried about Texas Southern. Our only concern is Lincoln. And yeah, we did give up 600 yards, but a lot of those yards are things that we did. It wasn't what the opponent did. We're giving credit because they won the game. But again, I don't think you got to go and do anything different. That's why you go through spring football. That's why you go through fall camp. You don't have to go make a massive change. If you're making massive changes right now, that means you were never on the right path. We're always been on the right path, and we got to be consistent. Our guys got to be disciplined to do their jobs. And we, as coaches, we have to take ownership of our players not doing what we ask them to do. So we all take responsibility in that. And so this week, regardless of the opponent, we got to go out there and do what we do. We're a spread offense. We're a tempo offense. And when you're tempo offense, you need to be able to get first down, right? Everybody needs to be locked in. The calls have to get from the linebacker to the secondary. And so we're doing a lot of great things. It's just the 4 or 5 plays when you don't all communicate the same thing. That's when bad things happen. So this week, I think, as I said before, I've challenged my coaches. We need to do the things that our players can do over and over, all right, without making a mistake. We can wake up in the morning and get to practice field and get it done without making mistakes. So we're starting to eliminate things that we're having errors in that we haven't corrected. So we're not going to add anything. And like I said, I was listening to a Georgia Tech coach talk. He said, we only run 4 plays. So why does everybody want to run a lot of plays or call a lot of defense if your kids are messing it up? And I'm a high school teacher. So my motto is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. All right. Like we don't have to do all this other stuff because everybody's doing it. Let's just do what we do and do it better than what everybody else can do. And so that's where we at as a program. We'll continue to fine tune the things that we want to do on offense, defense, and special teams. And that's going to help us as a program move forward.
Okay, good luck this weekend, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Got time for one final question that'll go to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Hampton.
Good morning.
I was listening to a Coach Northern, be specific, and he was breaking down some game film, and he was talking about this term that he used, 11 minus 1. And he was saying that all 10 players, and I guess this could be in any team sport, but particularly for football, all 10 players can be doing what they're coached to do, exactly what they're supposed to do. And one player veers off just a little bit for whatever reason. and how it can really challenge what you're trying to do from a defensive perspective. Based on what you've kind of alluded to throughout your interview today, can you provide a little perspective for us that have watched the game, cover it, of why that framework is important in terms of trying to understand schematic what it looks like on the field?
Yeah, I think, man, you hit it on the head. 11 minus 1. You know, I think each member of a team, right? And I'm gonna use, let's go to the church, right? All right, we're many members, all right, but we're one body, right? So everybody is a part of the church, right? And so we all have different gifts from God, right? He's given us all these gifts. So it's our job to take the gifts that God has given us to be able to use for the body of Christ, to be able to edify and lift up someone else. All right. And so that's what I tell my team, man. Hey, it's a lot of different people that come from all different places on this earth, come to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. God has assembled us all here together. So it's our job to do exactly what God has called us to do, or the offense or the special teams or the defense is asking you to do. Do your part, okay? If each part does what he's supposed to do, the entire body, the entire unit is going to function as one. And then we're all are going to be able to get the glory. And that's what this football team is about. That's what life's about. And so I just wanted to take you to church for a little minute there, man. We're many members, but we're one body. And if everybody do their part, then the entire body is going to be able to be glorified, which is God. And so right now, we as UABB football, we're starting to get everybody going in the right direction. We just need everybody to do their role, do your 111, 11 minus 1. If you do that, hey, then we'll all be successful. We'll all be happy. We'll all be smiling when it's time.
Amen. Thank you, Coach Hampton, for breaking it down.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Man, y'all be blessed, man.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Buckley. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Still trying to get in contact with Coach, so we'll pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, we are still attempting to reach Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State, but I do see that we have Coach Jackson with Prairie View A&M on with us, so we'll go ahead and get started with Coach Jackson's availability. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. All right, and we also ask you please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are actively asking a question. And once again, if you do see questions, which we already have several here in the queue, please limit your initial questions to one question. And if we have time for follow-ups, we'll work our way back. Good morning, Coach Jackson.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus UT RGV.
Yeah, played UT Rio Grande Valley, new program. They obviously they've got really good players, really good coaches. You can tell those guys have been together practicing for 2 years. I thought we spotted them 17 points, which you can't spot people 17 points regardless of what level you're on. And it took us a little while to get going and recover. I thought we finally recovered, came back and took the lead. Once we did that, we got ourselves in a situation to where we wasn't able to put the ball in the box and widen the lead, and gave them an opportunity to go down and score, and then we just couldn't get it back together. So tough lesson for us. You know, we were talking as a staff. That's our first regular season loss since October of 2023. So it's a little bit different for us around here now. I was certainly encouraged by the way our kids came to work yesterday, and looking forward to getting back on the field.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This was Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You talked about starting off a little slow in there, but I want to go in the direction with the change in the quarterback through the game. It seemed to give a little bit of momentum offensively wise. Can you share with us what was the thought process of changing the quarterback?
Yeah, Doc, I thought we were stale. Offense wasn't moving. We had an opportunity when they started scoring. It's funny because football, you know, offensive guys got their first 15 plays, and they were hitting on all 15 when they started. And so we got the ball back, and we could have calmed some of it down by scoring. And I just thought going 3 and out a few times, we didn't have any juice. And so finally we decided to make a change there, and it did create the spark we were looking for. We started scoring, we started moving the ball, sustaining drives. And so we just kind of kept it like it was after we made that change.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there on campus are well. 1-1 as you go into week 3. You'll see Rice. Just talk about the perspective as you move forward, what your takeaways are so far.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, man, you know, when I took the job, I told everybody we're here to win and be an FCS elite program. So certainly disappointed that we weren't able to be the FCS school on our level last week. But the deal stays the same regardless of who we're playing. We're here to win football games, regardless of the level, regardless of the resources, regardless of what anybody has. We're here to win football games. We're playing Rice this week. We fully expect to go out and beat Rice. I don't know any competitor that would say anything other than. That's just not my deal. When we came here to beat everybody, PWI, HBCU, University of Hong Kong, anybody included. Like we're here to win. And so as we look at a really good Rice team and how they run the football and how they do some things differently from an offensive standpoint, we gotta get back on this horse, be fundamentally sound, and get ready to go down into Houston again and win a football game.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Jackson, how you doing today?
Good morning.
Going into the game, you held UTRGV to 2 of 11 on 3rd down. Also won the time of possession, but the only glaring issue that you had was the penalties, which was you had 9 of 74 yards. What are the things you want to try to clean up as far as when it comes to the penalties going into this game with Rice?
Yeah, you know, disappointing in the penalties again. You know, I think in 2 weeks we had 24 penalties. We do everything. I've heard you ask that question to some other coaches on the staff that I got a lot of respect for. We do everything that everybody else does. We show it to them. We practice them. We call them out. I was the referee all week. And you know, here's the deal about penalties. When you come back on Sunday, some things ain't penalties, and I think we got to be really honest with ourselves, man. Everybody needs to clean up penalties, even the folks calling the penalties. Everybody needs to clean them up. And so we got to really, I'm tired of sending stuff in for review. Our kids ain't perfect. We do some things. We play an aggressive style of football, but some things just need to be better. And so we're going to certainly continue to do our job on our end. We just hope that others do theirs.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Jackson, despite the fact that you guys obviously didn't get the outcome that you were looking for this week, you can still meet all of your goals. So with that big picture in mind, how is the message of that, and how is the framework of that being transferred to the players and their mindset and their outlook just even after the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I'll say this with all due respect. We can meet all of our goals in our conference. We're missing some things from a national landscape. And I just don't come from that. I come from, if they're on the schedule, we should win. And so, yes, we can still, but that's seeking comfort in our opinion. When you just go to point to something on why, oh, we lost, but we can still meet our goals, that's seeking comfort. And we just don't do that here. We didn't play well on Saturday. I'm the reason that happened. I didn't coach well. And so we got to really get back to the grind and clean it up. And when the time comes for us to get back in the conference play, we need to be ready for that. But until then, we need to be ready for Rice. And so we don't sit around here and talk about what can be. We talk about what was and then go, okay, how do we fix it so that never happens again? I think we play this team that we played again in 2027. We need to be ready for that. But we're here to get this football program done from a national perspective. And when you lose an opportunity to beat somebody else outside of your conference, you're taking away the opportunity from your program to be nationally recognized. But, we'll get back and get ready for a good Rice team.
Appreciate the transparency, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jason Bristol.
Morning, Tremaine. You mentioned the offense stale and I guess maybe the team in general lacking juice, but maybe it was just the offense and being down 17-0. Do you attribute any of that to the emotional win over Texas Southern, or is that too lazy to point to that?
Yeah, I'm quite sure. Good morning to you, Jason. I'm quite sure that has something to do with it. When you win an emotional game, those things can hurt you or they can help you, right? And I just think from a maturity standpoint, we've got to grow up internally. And I'm talking about our players, our fans, our alums. We held on to that thing a little bit too long. We had people coming here Saturday asking to take a picture with the trophy. That our kids see that. And so what we're trying to teach is a culture of winning consistently and having high expectations across the board. And I do think that had something to do with it. But ultimately, I just didn't get us ready to play like I should have. I felt it. I knew it. I need to be better. And we'll certainly get that done.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Tremaine, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, quick question. Are you staying the course with your quarterback situation, or are you going to make a change? How are you going to move forward with that?
We'll see who practices good this week. I mean, I always told myself that I wouldn't be one of those coaches saying that we would get back to the basics after a loss, right? We'll get back to the basics. We just try to stay basic. And our basic way of doing things is whoever competes the best all week starts on Saturday. And so we'll kind of get back to that, and we'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Jackson. How you doing?
Morning.
So I kind of took my question about the quarterback, but Rockwell, your receiver, did have a 98-yard effort. The offense still struggled to finish drives. How much of that falls on quarterback play, and what are you going to adjust offensively against Rice?
Yeah, it doesn't fall on quarterback play. It falls on me. And so what we're going to do is get off this call with y'all and go in here to this meeting and get our problems fixed. It starts and it ends with me when you're in this seat. We're not going to sit around and blame players. Obviously, I did a bad job of getting them ready to play. And that just is what it is. And so I can fix me. That's the one thing I can fix. I can't control the ticket prices and popcorn and all that, but I can fix me. And so we're gonna certainly get this fixed because I told everybody why we're here. I mean that, and we still stand on that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Southern University and Coach Graves. Once again, if you have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question, and please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are asking a question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
We had a great crowd, great atmosphere on Saturday. Jaguar Nation came out, showed up in the Coach Richardson Classic. You know, it was a tough ball game to come out on the short end. You know, hats off to Coach Rob and Alabama State. Those guys persevered and did what they had to do to come out on top with the victory. You know, the ball game was a, like he said earlier, you know, it was a tough ball game. It was 6-0 at halftime. We came out, we got a score, and then we turned around and gave the momentum back. And a couple plays, they were back up. So, you know, we had our opportunities, we had our moments. We had a lot of missed opportunities in the ball game, and certainly you can't turn the ball over 4 times and expect to beat a quality football team. So I think that was the big difference in the ball game. You know, the turnovers, they did a great job of capitalizing off of those turnovers and field position. And we got to do a better job of executing in all 3 phases of the game. We talked about it yesterday. We're working on it. We're going to continue to work on it, and we look forward to getting better going forward.
Thank you for those comments, Coach. We'll open it up for questions. First one goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're well. Talk a little bit about just moving forward, what you guys look forward to playing the next opponent, and it's all about Southern.
Well, we gotta improve. You know, we have to work on improving, doing the little things better. You know, too many turnovers. You know, as I said to the staff on yesterday, we got to find a way to continue to find ways to overemphasize how important the ball is the issue. And we've had too many turnovers in the games that either games got away from us or made games closer. And so, you know, in crucial moments, and then we go down and we turn the ball on 2 consecutive series. And so we're talking about a 7-6 ball game, a 13-7 ball game, and next thing you know, the lead, you know, increases 23-7 and then 30-7. You know, we gave up, I believe in 2 or 3 situations. It was I believe it was a 17-point swing. And you know, anytime you're playing a quality opponent, you can't give away 17 points. You can't give away 17 points to anybody. And so we gotta make sure that we're focusing and harping on the details and making sure that we, you know, take care of the ball. And we got to capitalize. We ran the ball well. We moved the ball up and down the field, but you know, the Achilles heel is we're struggling to get the ball in the end zone. So we're looking at ways to make sure that the guys understand what we need to do, and we got to execute so we can, you know, score points, and then also help our defense out, because I think those guys got tired with the turnovers and guys started to press, and so now we gotta be able to play complementary football in all 3 phases.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Super fantastic, Coach. Let's do this for me, Coach. Convince the Jaguar Nation of why this should still be considered a good football team. There were a number of drops. There were a number of penalties. There were a number of missed tackles. Convince the Jaguar Nation why this is a good football team.
We are a good football team. We just have to keep working. You can see the talent on the field. You know, it doesn't always equate to the points on the scoreboard, but turnovers and missed assignments and things of that nature for whatever reasons. I think guys press. They tend to press trying to make plays, and some guys are trying to do some things outside of the realm of what is being called. But the talent is there, the will is there, the effort is there. The missed tackles got bad late in the ball game because, again, as I said earlier, it's sudden change, and guys had to go out there, and guys were pressing, trying to make plays. We got worn down, I think, late in the ball game, but that's something that we improved on. We worked on well. We were playing tough in the first, for the most part, for the first 3 quarters. We played really well, well enough defensively, and then we got field position wise, giving up a big return right after a touchdown is unacceptable, and that happened in week 1. It was almost a carbon copy, unfortunately, of how week 0 and Saturday was, and that's disappointing. But at the end of the day, the guys fought. They continue to fight, and we're going to continue to fight and improve. And as we met as a staff yesterday, we looked at everything. We went over personnel. We looked at what we're doing, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything to make sure that we give these guys a chance to be successful.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck against Fresno State.
Thank you.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Gray.
Good morning, Dr. Cavill. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking that. I want to talk about, you really broke down in terms of offensively, being able to put up the numbers, but what did you in was the turnovers. Defensively, it sounds like you believe that they got tired in the third quarter as you gave up 360-some yards. Can you talk a little bit more about the defensive side of the ball and where you think they are at this time?
Well, I thought we played for the most part for the better part of the game. I thought we played well enough to win defensively. I think there was the times where we had turned the ball over, sudden change, and the guys went out and held Alabama State to a field goal or a couple of field goals. And so that shows that those guys had the mettle to go out and, hold them to field goals, because when you do that, then that keeps you in the ball game. And then, again, there comes a time where you have to score, you have to protect the football, because those guys going to get tired. They're going to get worn down. And when that happens, that's when you start seeing guys really starting to get away sometimes from the techniques and the fundamentals of, late in the ball game where they were chasing the ball with the misdirection of the screens. And we get there and we got to wrap up, but we got to bring our feet. We get to a point where we start lunging. And then defensively with some things, we did some things from in terms of, we got to make sure, it's human nature, especially defensively, when there's a turnover. Sometimes as coaches, we want to get the ball right back, but sometimes you have to just exhale and take a breath and keep everything in front of you and allow those guys to play those plays, because, sometimes you bring a lot of pressure, and all it takes is for a guy to not fit his gap right, or a guy, to not have his eyes in the right place. And now you got a guy wide open, just like after the big return, right after touchdown, we had the big, we gave up the big return, and 2 plays later, we gave up a big touchdown. Well, we watched it yesterday, and we got guys, guys jumped out of the gap and we're in man coverage. And so, when you jump out of the gap and we're in man coverage and there's nobody on that side of the field, then it leads to the touchdown. And those things hurt, but we have to continue defensively to stay sound. We gotta, and then we gotta be opportunistic. There were times where we had a chance to get interceptions and we weren't in position, and we were sometimes going after the hit as opposed to going after the interception. And you talking about, and that was a redshirt freshman playing that much in the game. And so it's a learning experience for him. And we're going to continue to teach and show, and we'll continue to get better.
Thank you, Coach Gray.
Thank you.
We've got time for one final question that'll go to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Graves, with the sitting at 1-2 and the prospect of maybe being 1-3 after this week. How do you evaluate yourself as the head coach, your performance thus far, and also your offensive and defensive coordinators, Mark Frederick and Mr. Henry?
Well, I don't evaluate myself until after the end of the season. There's certainly things that we need to do and we'll do better. I think I like what we do schematically on offense and defense. I think a lot of times, again, we offensively we can move the football. We got to put the ball in the end zone. We got to stop, the turnovers. We're talking about just paying attention to detail, ball security, something that we work on throughout the week. And we got to be detailed about the details in terms of protecting the football defensively. I think Coach Miller does a good job of getting those guys aligned, and we're getting after people. We did a good job of containing a very good quarterback on Saturday. And like I said, we got to a point where we were trying to force the action sometimes because, we were going right back out there. And we just got to execute. We got to execute, and we gotta win the field position game. We got to win the special teams game. Surely, you always want to be better. Nobody thought that, or certainly I didn't think that we'd be in this position now, as well as the players. But here we are. That's the reality. And so the thing is, you got two options: either you put your head down and you go to work and you fight to continue to improve, or you sit around and you sulk and you pout. That's not what we're going to do. That's not what we've ever done. And I've never been that type of coach, and I'm not going to start today. So I've been a winner. Gonna continue to win. We're gonna work to win and find ways to win. And so we're gonna win today. And that's what we believe in. We say dominate the day. We're gonna do that every day. We're gonna continue to work, and we're gonna live with the effort that we put forth.
Thanks for the transparency, Coach, and good luck this week on that trip out there to Fresno.
Thank you.
Coach Graves, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you, Drew. Go Jags.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Texas Southern. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. Happy to be joined by Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. I'm turning my video on. It says that you guys are disabled my video, so
Let me see if we can get that corrected, Coach.
I guess you'll have to do it from here.
Starting now. Okay, there it is.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Coach, as always, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Cal.
Well, I was very proud of the way our players played. And first of all, let's thank all the fans who came out there. We had a lot of our fans from Texas Southern to come out there and cheer our guys on. So our guys were happy to see that. And a lot of the California fans out there also at Texas Southern. So first of all, thanks to fans for coming out and cheering our guys on. Our Ocean Show band made it out there, and it was a big hype for us.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. What are your takeaways coming out of Cal Berkeley as you get ready for Lamar?
Well, first and foremost, Cal has a $25 million plus revenue sharing budget. So my take is that our guys was ready to play. We was in the game. Second half adjustments, wasn't too fond of our second half adjustments. That game was for us to win. Every time you have a coin toss, you expect to win the game, and we just didn't win the game.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Dishman, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. You?
All right, I'm doing good. I want to move away from the Cal game because I know everybody want to take a lot of what you didn't do right or what you could do right from that game, and want to go ahead and focus on Lamar. Lamar is coming off of a big upset win over South Dakota What do you see about this team? You feel like they're where you can kind of exploit some of the things that they do on offense and defense in order to win the game?
Well, Lamar's is a very good team. Their defense, they have very good defensive backs. They play well on defense. The quarterback put them in right position to win the game. So we have we gotta fight for this game in order to win this game.
Okay, now you need me to come out the edge on defense. I can do that for you.
No, we'd be okay. Okay, well, I appreciate the offer, though.
All right, you have a good one, Coach.
All right, have a great.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, that week 1 to week 2 improvement. Talk about that in the Texas Southern, your team. Talk about what you saw where your program made improvements this week.
Well, special teams wise, I thought we improved. We had a lot of young guys on special teams, and we took the ones who want to really play special teams. Special teams is so important for our team. If you don't play special teams, you won't play offense or defense. So we had a lot of our freshmen in there on special teams, and they played very well.
Was that the only area, Coach?
Well, there's a lot of areas that we can improve on, and we will improve on. And as we go off, our goal has always been the same. We didn't accomplish one of our goals, but right now we turn our goals on of winning the West. And we have a very good team here, and we can win the West if everyone stay on the same page.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Jason Bristol.
Good morning, Chris. When you look at the film defensively, what impressed you most about what you were able to do against Cal, given that I think the halftime score was only 11-0?
Yeah, defensive, our guys played very well. They was up for the challenge. And like I said, Coach Parker do a tremendous job of getting those guys ready and going. Not just Coach Parker, our whole defense staff's done a great job of get those guys ready and going to play such a team like that. Like I said, with Cal having such a big budget over us, but that's what it is. And that's what the way football is now.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill is inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Dr. Cavill, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Glad to say I can bring a little. Yeah, I appreciate you. Treating me real well. Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Labor Day Classic defense played relatively well, but particularly first half, you talked about second half not doing the adjustments that you wanted to see, but at first half they played really well. How are you going to translate and have them continue to play and even get better in regards to this next game against Lamar? And I know you don't like to single out players, but at least provide me positional areas where their strength of your defenses coming to the table.
The main thing is getting these 17, 18-year-old young men, student athletes, to play to their potential. As a coach, it's on us. It's not on them. It's on us. And we have to figure out who have the best talent to have us win football games. So that's what we're doing this week. Of each and every week, we may have a different lineup in there. And it's okay to have a different lineup. And we're putting our job on the line on these 17, 18-year-old young student athletes. So it's up for us as coaches. And I don't like to call our coaches coaches. I like to call them teachers. It's up for us as teachers to give them the tools so they can be successful for us to win.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Mr. Harris.
Hey, you mentioned a couple times the budget and the $25 million. I want to get your thoughts on just this whole idea of money games and do you feel like they do more damage than good, or I mean, what's your feeling on those?
Well, I can't really answer. Haven't been in the HBCU circuit that long to answer a question like that. But for me, it's whoever's on your schedule, you're supposed to win. You go out there to fight to win the game, and what happens happens. So they was on our schedule. We was supposed to win that game. We was in that game to win it. We wasn't in that game just to show up for the money. We was in there to win the game.
So what did you talk to your kids about after that game in terms of just the result and how to process that?
Being 0-2, been 0-2 and still have a chance to win the West. That's the positive thing to come out this. We're 0-2 and we still have a chance to win the West. Our goal is to win the West. Our goal is to win the HBC MEAC versus the SWAC. Our goal is to win that. So our goals are still in front of us.
Okay, thanks.
Last question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Dishman. How you doing?
Ms. Mona, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. First off, I just want to let you know I'm still available if you need a dual threat quarterback. But on a serious note, your defense showed flashes of toughness against Cal. Despite the loss, Isaiah Bogarty, he led the way. I think he had like 10 tackles. And then he had Matthew Cooks and Jason Patterson. Can you talk a little bit about that defensive unit as they continue to gel and what you look forward to as the season progresses and you get into SWAC play in terms of your defense?
Well, I'm expecting them to progress and be high up in the SWAC versus our defense. You know, Bogue is Bogue. He's a very good player. He have a chance to play at the next level, so he has given all he got. Patterson is coming along well. You know, these guys are brought here to win. These guys are brought here to sew up our defense. And that's what I told him yesterday is that you guys are brought here to make us a better team. And that's what they're doing.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, have a great one.
Sure, thank you. All right, next we go to Jackson State and Coach Taylor. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We already have several questions there in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got time, we'll work our way back for some follow-up questions. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Southern Miss.
Yeah, it was a great football weekend, man. The fans really came down to Hattiesburg here from Jackson and all over and really supported that football game. But I'm very pleased with our football team. They came out and competed. You know, they fought throughout the football game for 4 quarters of football. It was, like I said, a great atmosphere. Going in at the half, we felt like we was in a position to win the game. Just came out in the second half and couldn't sustain. You know, they was able to separate from us right there late in the game. So, like I said, hats off to Coach Huff. He got a great program out there. He really has it going in the right direction. And, you know, just very proud of our team, the way we came out and fought and competed with a FBS opponent.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I want to look at that Tuskegee matchup. Got a chance to catch them early in the year. They seem to be playing pretty stout on the defensive side of the ball and getting some things going offensively this past weekend. What do you see in terms of that matchup of what you want to see your Tigers do against that offensive defensive unit of the Golden Tigers?
I'm sorry, Doc, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think they're a great reflection of their coach, Coach James over there. You know, he's a hard-nosed guy. And that defense, like you said, they really do a good job of striking people. You know, they get people on the ground. I love the 2 linebackers they have over there playing football right now. They're playing at a high level. So, you know, we got to get those guys covered up and, you know, do what we like to do. That's run the ball to set up the pass. So, you know, they're flying around. Their defensive line is very active. They play with a lot of energy over there. Like you said, offensively, they're starting to crank up on the offensive side of the ball. And as far as I remember, the last time, you know, they came to Jackson, they upset Jackson State. And I know they have that on their mind for this weekend. It'll be the W.C. Gordon Classic, you know, so the atmosphere is going to be crazy in the vet as well. So we got to have our A game be ready to play. And, you know, coming off this loss, I was very pleased how our team came back and responded with the work on yesterday's practice and walkthroughs, film studies, and everything. So, you know, we got to shake this past week up and off and get ready for a very good 2-0 Tuskegee team, Doc.
Thank you, Coach. I look forward. I get in town for that matchup. So,
yeah, I heard you'll be here. Hey, I heard you'll be here, so I'm looking forward to seeing you.
All right, appreciate you.
All right.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. When you go back to last weekend, the only time you didn't score is in the 3rd quarter. Can you talk a little bit about the game down in the hub and how you can use that as you get ready for Tuskegee?
Yeah, I mean, definitely can use it. You know what? I'm real proud of our defensive line and offensive line, I always say. But when you go against those type of teams, those FBS opponents, can your defensive line get after the quarterback? Can your defensive line stop the run? And I thought we did a great job of both of those on this past weekend. Again, we rushed, without talking about our offensive line rushing over 200 yards again in a football game. So, those are things that when you can do that and go and compete with those teams on that level, you got the making of a good football team. And, that's why I say I'm so pleased with how we went out there and fought. A big emphasis for me was the tackling. We got people to the ground in that game. They got the player of the year over there in that quarterback. He's really good. He's going to be a force in that conference for them. And we got after him. We competed with him throughout the game. So like I said, I can't say enough about our program right now.
Have a good week, Coach.
All right, you too.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, how you doing today? I'm good, Doc. How are you? Doing good. Going back into this game, the glaring issue was the penalties, 12 for 87. But you also ran the ball well, and basically you were even killed with the team with Southern Miss throughout this whole game. A lot of people ask about, are you opening up the playbook as far as offensive wise? And they want to know like who's really, actually kind of calling the plays. But what are your thoughts about that? And what do you want to tell Tiger Nation about the offensive play calling? Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're doing what the things that we need to do in order to compete and win football games right now. Coach Real and Coach Manning, they're doing a good job of going out there, schematically, giving us an opportunity to win. And that's all I can ask, those guys to do. The penalties is still a problem. I definitely have not been ignoring it. It was a big emphasis again in yesterday's meetings. And it's just the discipline and just being locked in, they were able to extend a couple of drives off some, us jumping off sides. We had the false starts and everything. So that's some stuff that can be corrected. It's not like we got out there getting personal fouls and things like that. It's just those little tidbits, corners competing and getting the pass interference calls. We got to improve the technique, be locked in those moments. But the scheme is pretty much the scheme. It's the similar things that we did last year, as an offense. And I trust those two guys to go out there and get it done. It's early in the year. And I think these same questions came about last year. And we're going to continue to play football. We're going to continue to press and do the things that we hang our hat on here at Jackson State. I appreciate you, Coach. Good luck next week. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Doc.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, Perry, how you doing?
I'm super fantastic, Coach. Your linemen, yes, they were impressive offensively and defensively, but watching this game, the most impressive thing to me from the Jackson State program was the open field tackling.
Yeah.
You guys were able one-on-one each time to make great open field tackles. When other teams in the conference are struggling with this early on in the season, how is it that Jackson State is able to look so good in this area?
I have to, hats off to our strength program, Coach Beef, and our strength coach and everything he does with those guys in the offseason as far as getting them physically ready to play. The things that we pride ourselves on here, is being a physical football team. And that starts with open field tackling. We do a good job of working each and every day in practice, defensively, even offensively. We getting turnovers and stuff. That's just something that we work. We got to be able to get guys and players to the ground. And like you said, when you're playing an FBS opponent, it's good to see those type of things when you can go out there on early downs that they may throw something short or a running back breaks through and you got safeties, linebackers, D linemen can get those people to the ground. You got the right personnel as far as your strength team and everything that's doing the right things to get these guys playing and performing and striking at a high level.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Tamota Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach TC. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So Coach TC, your rushing attack, the defense, and the special teams, I feel like they've all been performing at a high level. The missing piece is the long passing game. So we've had some drop passes and missed opportunities. What type of changes are you going to do this week to finally get that last cylinder firing?
Yeah, I think that is well said. That's the one piece that that we have to improve on. I think it's the offensive pass game overall. To be honest with you, we with all the talent that we have out there on the perimeter, we got to get more more vertical passes down the field, and we should be more explosive at this point. But like I said, it's early in the season. We got one more out of conference game going into this weekend to try to work on things like that before we get to and then we'll have the bye week, of course, after next week. But yeah, that's something we have to address. It's something that we're working on as coaches, because when you talk about a Jonas Fortillion, a Shamar Savage, a Nate Rembert, Janalen Dupree, all these dudes can really stretch the field. So that's something we're trying to figure out, and I think that's the last missing piece to this football team that we got to get corrected here. And just it's something that we've been talking about in the meeting rooms as coaches as well. How do we get some more down the field throws and get these guys to lock in and make those plays when the ball is in the air. And that's what I've been talking about with the players as well. Jacobian has to, when he has an opportunity to push the ball down the field, he has to have confidence and let that go. Trust in the pocket with the old linemen, and those receivers got to give those go up and make the plays. So I think that's the one missing piece that we got to work on and get right before we get to conference, to help complement this run game.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Well said. Great question.
Got time for one final question. It'll go to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I just want to talk to you real quick about Quincy Ivory. Kind of, what are you liking about what you're seeing from him? And then, can you tell us a little bit about just how you guys landed him?
Yeah, I mean, Quincy Ivory is going to be he's going to be a force in this league going forward. And you've seen, the last couple of weeks he's been lighting it up at the outside linebacker defensive end position. But he's a guy you can plug in a lot of different places on our defense, and that's what we like about him. No difference than the young man that we had on this football team last year, Josh Nobles. Was a versatile defensive end, outside backer type guy. And I think Quincy is probably more athletic than Josh. So he's going to have the opportunity to make a lot of plays. That's why you saw him have the sack this past weekend, 10 tackles, because he's able to do so much schematically for our defense. Coach Khalid James, a guy that was on our staff last year, identified this young man coming out of the University of Florida, and it said the same things that I'm telling you now, that he was going to be a force in this league. And once we got him on campus, we was fortunate enough he was wanted to commit to us, and it was all about opportunity for him to play. That's what he was about. He wanted to just get on the football field. And once we got him to work in this summer, you could see it. I mean, the kid is his stature, the way he's built, very twitchy kid, a powerful kid, young man coming off the edge as well. You can see all those things that's translating to the football games right now.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. We have Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State to close us out here. And so once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach, or good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning. Finally.
Yes, sir. And always thank you for taking time to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Tarleton State.
I would say that the first half we showed the improvement that I thought that we would make. We controlled, we ran the ball, we made some plays. We had issues in the red zone again that we have to clean up. Defensively, we adapted to what they like to do to stop them in the run game. We put the DBs on a lot of stress for the game, and for the first half, it was pretty good. It was competitive, even with all the penalties. We had a few miscues back there on special teams. We cleaned up the punt. We went to a different style because we lost our long snapper a couple weeks ago, and we've been trying to work through that. But overall, the energy was good, the attitude was good, the game plan was good, and as you can see, the second half they made some adjustments and started to get their better athletes, players on ours, and we couldn't hold up. But we played 60 minutes, which was very, very good to see.
Thank you for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the Delta are well. Your quarterback room, Mr. Brown and Mr. Nunez, 3 picks. Just talk a little bit about your quarterbacks going forward, what you look forward to against Southeast.
Well, yes, we struggled. We struggled back. We're reading some of the stuff they was doing. Their D-line was very good. They was pushing it back. So it was a mixture of them and us, which was, like all the other coaches saying, it's early in the season and we're still in that evaluation process, or that evaluation process was going on last week. This week, we're going to narrow it down some more and get the guys going that need to be out there, that have earned the right to be out there.
Have a good week, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Buckley.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk to you a little bit about offensively, going back to Southern game, did a lot of good things in that matchup. And even in this one, even though the score got away, there was some good things going on. But I imagine you want to see some more in your running game. Couldn't really crack the 100-yard mark as a framework in the last 2 games. Can you talk about what are you seeing in your game offensively from the running back position and what you would like to improve on?
What I saw in the fourth quarter is what I was telling the OC, Coach Park, I wanted to see. I feel like we moved the ball. The backs ran hard. We need to see more of that. I mean, if you controlling the line, obviously that's O-line and D-line.
Yes, sir.
Everybody talks about getting physical. We are trying to do that. Obviously, everybody wants the players. It's one of the things that we are making adjustments. We're trying to run it. We're trying to do, and it's one of those things that we have to continue to improve and develop.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Buckley, Doc Holliday. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing well.
I wanted to ask you about your defensive line, particularly trying to get pressure on the quarterback. What is the things you want to try to improve as far as when it comes to getting pressure to the QB with your defensive line, or also with just either with your front 7?
Oh man, trying to create more one-on-ones. As you can see, our defense is kind of hectic. We try a little bit of everything, and for us right now, the linebackers are getting involved because we're bringing them, trying to create those one-on-ones to see where can we generate that pass rush from. We will consistently and always make adjustments. So the lineup, the different combinations, this is all about getting better, competing, and getting the best 22 on the field. In our case, maybe the best 44 on the field, as we do play a lot of people.
Also, what is the things that you see in Southeast Louisiana on the offensive end?
Well, they're similar. They run some kind of the same stuff that everybody else runs. Now, you ask me this 3 days from now, I'll have more for you. We are trying to make sure that we get ourselves correct. And we just had a ball game 2 days ago that we did a lot of good things for our first half. The second half, was it schematically? Was it players? Was it coaches? It's a combination of things that we're still trying to work out. But Southeastern, they're going to be another opponent that we have to be ready for to stop the stuff they do. Can we stop the run? And can we put them in 3rd and long and make plays?
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September 8th. And just a reminder, all SWAC football head coaches media sessions are archived on the SWAC Digital Network and SWAC TV.